Okay, so we're going to look at this document about the report of an agreement made to a group of women in Boston, Massachusetts, Boston Evening Gazette. At a time when our invaluable rights and privileges are attacked in an unconstitutional and almost alarming manner. So what does it mean? What are they upset about? They're being what? Taxed without what? Yes, because their rights of an Englishman are being violated. They're being taxed without representation. So that's the first thing. Let's look at this next line. They're being taxed, if we're writing that down, they're being taxed without their consent of representation, right? Does that violate a right of an Englishman? So let's look at this next one. We may find that reproach for not being so ready as could be desired to lend our assistance. What does reproach mean?
Like disagreeing.
Disagreeing, and they're constantly coming back, right? So have these people, have these ladies been eager to get involved yet? Now they're eager, but had they been?
Oh,
No, because they've been having issues, right? So they've been coming back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So these women haven't been able to, right? They've been reproaching the situation, right? They had issues. But now, are they eager to lend their assistance? Are they ready to lend their assistance? Yes. So these women, they had issues with the taxes. It violated their rights. They've been trying to they've been on the fence, right? Should we help? Should we not help? Should we not help? Should we help? But now they're ready to lend their assistance. So let's look at the next part. We think it our duty perfectly to concur with the Friends of Liberty. Is there any word we do not understand? Do you understand what concur means? What does concur mean? Y'all are concurring with me right now. Talk. We are agreeing, right? That we know what concur is. I want you to talk to your partner. Who is this group of Friends of Liberty they're concurring with? Talk to your partner. Maybe you know what this is. We've seen it before. Oh, what is it? This is the Sons of Liberty. So it says, we think that our rights have been violated because we are being taxed. We were on the fence. We weren't ready to lend assistance, right? But now we agree with who is this? Which are who? The Sons of Liberty. We agree with the Sons of Liberty. No, he's a diplomat. It's John Samuel Adams. Okay? So, do we got this? Now they're going to be with who? Who do you think these ladies are going to be with? Who did we say again? Sons of Liberty. So what do you think that makes these women? Daughters of Liberty. Okay, so these are the Daughters of Liberty who are agreeing to join hands with who? The Sons of Liberty. Okay, so these women are joining hands with the Sons of Liberty, if we're putting it in our own words. We'll look at the Quebec Act today. Okay, so I want us to read this next thing. In all measures they have taken to save this abused country from the ruin of slavery. Can y'all tell me the measures that these Friends of Liberty, which we know as Sons of Liberty, have taken to secure this country from ruin and slavery? What were some of those ways?
Didn't they tar?
They tar and feather. So these women, they're going to be hands with them, right? They weren't doing that before, but are they going to do that now?
Yes.
Yes, which we saw in the video. So are they going to go to extremes?
Yes.
Okay, so these women are joining with the Sons of the Liberty, and they may get a little bit chaotic, right? Okay, let's look at our next portion. And particularly, we join with the very respectable body of merchants and other inhabitants of this town in their resolutions to totally abstain from the use of tea. What are these ladies agreeing to in this sentence? What are they agreeing to?
Boycotting British tea.
Okay, boycotting. So the women are now, that's the next sentence. They're going to boycott British tea. The women are going to boycott tea with the merchants and with the Sons of Liberty. Okay, let's look at, they're agreeing to boycott. We're going to come back and look at this situation, because I think your study guide had a lot of historical situation about tea last night, right? Hey, it says, this agreement we cheerfully come into, as we believe the very distressed situation of our country requires it. We here do oblige ourselves religiously to observe it until the late revenue acts are repealed. So they said they will boycott what? Tea until what happens? What happens with this revenue act?
It goes away.
It goes away. They agreed to boycott until this revenue act goes away. So now I want us to look at the historical situation. I want you to go through your study guide and tell me what is historically going on that these women are picking on tea. All those acts, what acts? What is going on?
It wasn't the Townsend Act?
The Townsend Act that had tea in it, they don't like that because that's gonna raise revenue for the crown, right?
Tea is like crack over there, right?
Well, it's just, well, one of the things is that the water's not purified. If you look at your water bottle today, your water has been purified through reverse osmosis. And so that means all of the, yes, if you look on there, it's gonna say osmosis on it, right? And so what occurs is all of your water goes to the water district today, and things go into our water system. Does it say it, Mason?
Yeah, it does.
It
says
does.
reverse
And
osmosis.
so what occurs is all of this water goes into our filtration system. Have you ever seen drainage ditches and all of their stuff? And all of that, whatever gets thrown down there, my daughter's soccer ball, my son's football, trash, goes into our water. And so at the water district, do y'all know where Howard Road is? All of that water gets filtered over and over again. And so y'all know osmosis is things going into a cell, right? And so what they do with reverse osmosis is things go out of the cell. I sounded like a biology teacher. Lucia and Ms. Lauer would be proud of me. Okay, but when we look back at colonial America, do you think they had purified water? And so was their water pretty nasty?
Yeah.
And so did they need tea to make it taste better? And that's why they were addicted to tea, because how was water that did not have reverse osmosis? Disgusting.
It probably
It
looked
was,
like tea.
it probably did look like tea, and it was not as refreshing as the bottled water you have today. So, do you understand why people were addicted to it?
Yes.
So taking this stand right here means that they're drinking pretty darn ugly water. I want us to look at the historical situation. We said it was because the Townsend Act, it tacks on this. What other reason? There was another scandal in our study guide going on why the woman would boycott tea. What was the scandal in our study guide?
Was it the monopoly that the British?
East India Company got because they had a monopoly because they were facing bankruptcy. And if they failed, a lot of parliamentary people who had invested in that company would lose their money. So now they're forcing them to buy that tea so they could profit and tax them. Is that scandalous?
Yes.
Yeah, they give them a virtual monopoly so that they can make sure that they make their money back.
Okay, so it said that therefore, since they had a monopoly, their tea was cheaper, but wouldn't you usually jack up the prices if you had a
Okay,
monopoly?
so they're going bankrupt. They've been going all the way to India, all the way to England, and then back to the colonies. And so we're gonna look at this today in our notes. What happens is that, I need to find a marker. Okay, regular tea, I'm gonna draw a very, very bad America. I don't draw well.
You're gonna draw the original?
Let's go, Ms. Harris. Let's get this done. Where we gonna pee then?
Good afternoon, teachers. At this time, please do not send any more students down with information about the restroom. Do not send any more students
I'm
down
sorry,
with
people
information
online,
about
this is the
restrooms.
one go at it. We've recorded this too much. If you watched it, you know that there's a restroom issue today. Okay, so this is,
You're really gonna put 250 and
This-
expect not.
okay,
Expect not like 300.
this is Europe, okay? This is the Middle East. And then this is India out here. Okay, this is Africa. Okay, this is the colonies. Okay, so for us to understand what's going on, is that the British East India Company has to go from England all the way down to India to get that tea, right? Y'all learned that they had done this for a while, right? They had the Middle Passage, right, or the Silk Road that brought stuff over here, but it was really expensive. Once they could get the boats caused it to be cheaper. But now they get to India and they have to go all the way back to England, collect a tax on it, and then they could come to the colonies. So was the British East India Company tea very expensive? Yes. And so on average, that tea was about 8 cents round trip just for one little bag. So now when it's given a virtual monopoly, England says, look, y'all have a lot of tea. Is there any reason for you to go to East India? No. You're going to go bankrupt. So they have so much of an item. What could they do to the price? Drop it. It's going to be like Walmart. You know how they roll back the price, right? Because they had so much. So the British East India Company, are they going to India anymore? They're sitting with a stockpile of it, right? And so now this was the original price for the tea. But now they could sell this tea at 2 cents. That's the cost. Plus the tax, which is what? 3 cents. This total now tea is going to cost how much? So does this tea look cheaper than the original price? But what does it look like has been removed? The tax. But is the tax there? And so the background to this is they're saying everybody should boycott it, right? Because is there a scandal going on in the background? Yes. Are they telling us the full scandal? No, they're just saying we're obliging to this. We're going to join hands. But looking at this, they're asking people by principle to buy that 5 cents one. Let's look at how much smuggled tea is. Smuggled tea is 7 cents. They're asking people to buy the smuggled tea. And when we saw in that video, was John Hancock upset that he was called a smuggler? Yes. Does anybody want to buy the smuggled tea? No, because it's more expensive, right? Some of you are principal. I'll do it. How many of you have heard of a company called? Anybody heard of that company? They sell Shein. They sell clothes very, very cheap, but they're made in third world countries by kids. But you still buy it. Okay. But now that you've heard that it's made in third world countries by kids, are you going to stop buying it? No, you're going to still buy it. Why?
Because it's cheap.
It's cheap. So are they going to have problems encouraging people in colonial America to buy the smuggled tea? Because most Americans are going to buy what? The cheap tea. And so these ladies are taking out a newspaper article to convince Americans to buy what? Smuggled tea, and to boycott the English. Because are they benefiting from you buying this 5 cents tea? It keeps this business, right? Who is backed by merchants and parliament, people in power. They're taxing you, and according to them, who has the sole right to tax you? Is it Parliament or your own colonial? So do y'all get the historical situation now? Is this really in depth now compared to what y'all learned last year? Yes, we know that they're upset at the Townsend Act. Oh, we know they're upset about this taxation. Can you now tell me what this foreshadows, this document? What does this foreshadow? What's going to... No, what in the revolution? What event?
Oh, the
Boston Tea Party. Was it only in Boston?
No.
No, Boston was the one who got in trouble. Was there one that was worse than Boston?
Is that the one that they took on the study guide?
Yes, in the study guide. Annapolis, what did they do?
They like burned a bunch.
Burn the boat, right?
Yeah.
They burned the boat. But why didn't we punish Annapolis? Where's the most of the revolution happening? In Boston. So let's look at this. So do we got a lot of historical situation going on? Who do you think these women are speaking to?
No.
It's in Boston, the king. Colonists, who? What colonist?
The men, like the leaders.
Young women.
Who do you think they'd be speaking to? What's their purpose? What do you think their purpose is? To get people to what? Stop buying the tea. So who are they talking to? People who are buying whose tea?
English
English tea. So their intended audience is the people who are buying tea. Their purpose is to stop getting them to buy this tea. I just messed up. So the purpose, they want to get people to stop doing what? Buying English tea. Who is their intended audience? People buying tea. But what brand? The smuggled or the English? The English tea from the British East India Company. Okay, I want us to look at their point of view. Are these women eager revolutionaries ready to go, or were they reluctant? They were reluctant. Who did you call these group of women? Daughters of Liberty. Is that also a point of view? Yes. Was it even given in here that this is the Daughters of Liberty? No, so we could say that they're reluctant revolutionaries and this is the Daughters of Liberty. How do y'all feel about your document analysis now? Is this way deeper than what you thought? Yes. And of course, our documents of the day will always lead from what we did in our homework. Let's see that one on our notes. Okay, so these women want us to boycott what?
English tea.
English tea. Because is England still bamboozling you by you paying the tax at the cheaper price?
Yes.
Yes, they're trying to get people to stop buying this. Their intended audience are people who are buying tea from the British East India Company. We know the historical situation deals with the bankruptcy of the British East India Company. It also deals with the Parliament taxing them, and also deals with the Townsend Act. What did we say that this foreshadows? What event? It foreshadows what event? Boston Tea Party. Okay, how do y'all feel about your document of the day?